All right. Hello, everyone. And yes, we are back once again for the next episode of A Conversation with Kely. This time we're here to talk about The Circle. I promise this time it will be in one video. We're not going to abruptly end it like we did the last one and then try to combine it into another video that nobody watches. But as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Allie. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I got my first dose today, so that's exciting. But yeah, I've been doing pretty well today.
That's good. I'm very excited to talk about this week. There's a lot to get into, but before we do have two guests with us today. You've seen both of them on this channel before. First person you literally saw like a couple weeks ago when we talked about Big Brother Canada, and she's back. And someone else, we've had him on before, and he hasn't been on for a little bit. But these are two very good friends of mine. Very excited to have both of them on. We have, of course, Jenn. And this person, you know him. He's, for some people, a moment, a legend, an icon, all of those things. Here he is, Marcelo.
As I should. Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you for having me.
How you guys doing?
Fabulous.
That's good.
I'm thriving.
Definitely thriving as well as we can. But before we do get into everything that went down, what have you guys been thinking about this season of The Circle so far? Either of you can start.
Jenn, go for it.
Okay. I'm really enjoying it so far. I've seen all the UK seasons and of course season 1, and I've never been disappointed. And this season is also like up there, so it's really good so far. Excited for the next one.
Yeah, no, I agree with Jenn. I am like a huge Circle fan. I've been watching every season of The Circle known to man, except for The Circle France. I have not gotten to The Circle France, and I need to.
I heard that's bad.
Great, but I've watched UK seasons 1 through 3. I've watched US season 1, and I watched my personal favorite. I almost said Big Brother, not this.
Yes, Big Brother, The Circle. My favorite season.
My favorite season is Circle Brazil. I think that's like the best Circle franchise. Well, the UK is its own entity, but like the UK is like the top, and then the next for me is the Circle Brazil. But this season of The Circle has been way more dramatic than I ever thought it would be for a game called The Circle, but we'll get into that. And yeah.
Yeah, the strategy is definitely in full swing for sure. I myself am a big Circle fan, even though I've only been watching this season. But let's just get right into it. There's a lot to talk about. We have 4 episodes to go over, so expect for this to be a longer video than some of the others. So we're just going to get right into it. So as we know, at the end of last week's episode, well, one of the many episodes that we got, Courtney ended up going into the inner circle. We didn't really know what it was all about, and he's told right away he has this really big power. It's going to influence the game. He has this identity known as the Joker, and he's told tomorrow that 2 new players are going to enter the circle, and as the Joker, he's allowed to talk to both of them before anyone else, and he feels is going to help him convince the new players who they should and shouldn't trust. What did you guys think of this twist overall? I saw some people on Twitter saying it was a little overpowered. What do we really think about it?
I think it's a very powerful twist.
Oh, yeah.
But it's too powerful. It's one of those twists you have to make sure that you don't do the wrong thing, because one wrong step will cost you your life in the circle. But I love it because it gives us more to watch and more like fire to see. And Courtney, I think personally did really well with what Courtney was given, because he immediately was like, one thing you don't want to do is make it seem like you're the one who's the Joker. And Courtney really made it seem like Emily was the Joker, because when you throw out names of people that are suspicious and you leave one out, people kind of put some puzzle pieces together, and Courtney's was not a name that people were thinking was the Joker. So I think it's a really powerful twist. Is it too powerful? Yes.
Yeah, it's very powerful for sure. I think there's the way it plays out worked out for Courtney, but I feel like for a lot of players, it would not have been the case. So the next morning, everyone wakes up. They're given a message that Savannah sent before she left. She said she wanted to play a fair and honest game. She hates that the real snake wasn't taken out. And she says there are, in fact, multiple snakes and people shouldn't be too trusting of others. This gets everyone paranoid. So they create this whole public chat, and Courtney feels he's going to be this big target this week with how close he was with Savannah, and he seems to be gunning very hard for Emily and Terilisha, which I was not expecting him to be on Emily's radar as much as he was here. Like, I knew he'd be after Terilisha, but I did not think he was going to be after Emily so much. But he's really after her here. And while at first it seems that Emily is leaving herself out of the decision, Chloe does make it clear that they made it together. And I really like the way that Chloe went about this. I think it was really good for both her and Emily. I think they're both in a really strong position right now, which of course we'll get into a little bit later. But Trevor's a bit disheartened that Savannah didn't come to see him because he had such a close bond with her, and wonders who it was she did go to see. And Terilisha says that she's glad to be here. She hopes that everyone can still see the real her. This gets a lot of the players to doubt if she's really who she says she is. And this is something that in the circle I think is always going to be an issue, is because there's not that face-to-face communication. A lot of messages can get easily misinterpreted, and I think this was already like a big misstep for Terilisha to say this, because it immediately gets people to think that she's a catfish here. So Terilisha admits that Savannah did not come to visit her. The side of her she brought out during Truth or Dare, she's not happy about. What do you guys think of the way that Terilisha went about this? You know, did she do the right thing? Because I thought she was in a great position after last week, but already here it's like maybe not so much.
I just feel like their game beef kind of like ruined both of them, because like they were doing so well at the start, and then like I'm honestly not on any sides, just because they both have done it to themselves in a way.
Yeah, there's not really, for me, I'm not on any side because they're both right and they're both wrong at the exact same time. Like, there's, you know, they have their perception of what happened in their Truth or Dare and their influencer chat. I equate, so when I was watching the first 4 episodes, I really, and this might be dramatic for people, but I equated Savannah to the Circle UK season 3 icon Manrika, because Savannah was so like powerful in her ways, and Manrika was so powerful in her ways. That has changed. No one at me, please. No one at me. That has changed. I love Manrika. If you're watching, shout out. But it's just like, one thing about Terilisha and Savannah was that they made themselves such big targets that even when they were fighting, it's like people are always going to pit them against each other, and that's how we got those then being the bottom 2 rankings in the first 4 episodes. But I don't think Terilisha really made an effort to get her name out of in people's good graces, but the thing she did wrong about it is that she didn't really focus on putting anyone else's name out there that people could look at. It was just like, I'm a good person, don't take what Savannah said to heart, I'm not a snake, yada yada yada. But it's like, okay, and this is the circle, this is like a game about catching catfishes, this is a game about like any one wrong step will make you feel like you're the one to go home. So do I think she did a good job? Who knows? What do you think, Jenn?
Yeah.
I was a Terilisha stan from like the second she walked through those doors.
Oh yeah.
And like Savannah, from the second she walked through the door, I don't know, there was just something about her. I was just like, the vibe was off for me. So like, I was very biased in that fight, and I thought, and that's just me. I was just like, "Fuck you, Savannah!"
No, I've seen that. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter say like, "Oh, Savannah was horrible since day one," and like
they're fine. They're both lovely ladies.
Oh yeah.
Period. Girl power. You know,
Right.
I just like both of their energy.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them. I'd love to see both of them come back at some point because I think they both weren't really given the opportunity to really get to play the game. This got in the way of their games, and I'd like to see them both come back at some point. If that's
That's the thing with this. Yeah, well, that's the thing with the circle. Like, you can be. Hell, they could all be the same. Like, if I was in the circle, I could think that everyone playing could be the same people from season 1.
Right.
Just like different. Like, you can catfish. Like, if you can catfish, it's just like in general, like you can do it anytime. Like, could you imagine like 4 seasons of the same people, just catfish as different people?
Marcelo,
Like,
who would you be if you went in the circle? Who would you catfish?
I would catfish. If I was in the circle, I would catfish as Manrika. No, I would catfish just like I would want to be. Oh my god, this is so hard. I would catfish as like Shuby because everyone loved Shuby, so it's just like
I love you.
That could work. That could work. He was runner-up last season, right? Yeah,
he was. So you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of missteps that Terilisha does do this week, which we are going to get into. But before we do that, the big thing about this episode is that Michelle introduced us to the 2 new players of the game. The first one, Allie's going to tell you about.
Yeah, Mitchell. He's 22 from Pennsylvania, and he's the son of Tammy and mother of Eddie from season 1. And he feels that while he loved both of them, they were missing the social connections, which ultimately hurt them in the game and embarrassed them with the family name. He plans to be 100% himself. He says while he gets along well with the ladies, he is also a virgin and just hasn't met the right person. He wants to make up.
I don't know why they brought that up. It doesn't play into anything. I don't know why they brought that up
either.
Is he though? I'm gonna be. We don't have to talk about that, but whatever.
And in his profile, he decides to use a picture of himself, but it makes himself look fit, but also shows how approachable he is.
I mean, okay.
So I like first look, total douche. Like, don't like him.
Period.
Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna like him.
Pretty well though. I think he's doing
Yeah, he's not doing bad actually.
Yeah, I think he did a pretty good job of connecting with the people that he needed to. I don't think by any means he's doing like amazing, but I've heard, obviously I didn't see the first season, but I heard Tammy and Eddie's game was pretty less than stellar. So he's already doing a much better job than them, it seems like.
Well, the issue with Ed and Tammy, who also shout out if you're watching, I don't think you are, but go off. The thing with Ed and Tammy,
you never know.
You never know. That's what like Ed and Tammy were both kind of like. There's a difference between being. I call these people like intruders. They're not intruders, but like they come in like midway through the game or whatever. There's a difference between being someone who comes into the game like a Lance, Khat, and Mitchell. To whoever, I don't know if they're gonna bring someone in next week. I mean, we'll talk about what happens at the end of this 4 episode arc. But someone who comes in like right at the last moment, you don't get to make those connections. Like I think if whatchamacallit, in UK season 3 they had Pippa and Femi become this like pastor, and people were like, who is this? Like, who is this person? And like, why are they here coming in so late? So I just, Ed and Tammy's downfall was that they came in so late, and Mitchell's good that he came in so early. So like he gets an arc, but you didn't really see a lot of that. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely like doing well, but he's in no means like in the best position out of everyone.
I don't see him making it like super far. I could see him maybe being one of them.
No.
And I think that's like it's like a little bit of a flaw with this game in general is the fact that like I don't know, I just feel like the like first group of people tend to like stick together for the most part.
Yeah,
I think that's always going to hurt him out. However, someone that could potentially break that is the other player we're introduced. We have Khat. He is hold on.
I love her.
I fucking
Yes.
love her. She's my winner.
Kat is my best friend. Kat is my best friend. I want to be her best friend. I want to play volleyball with her. I want to stand on the sidelines, and I want to.
Destroy me in volleyball.
Well, I guess there's no reason for me to ask what you guys think of her because we pretty much already know. But she is a professional volleyball player. She's been playing for around 5 years, and she's pretty big. Like, if you go on Wikipedia, she has like her own page and everything. So like, she's a very well-known player when it comes to volleyball, and she wants to play as herself, mainly because she constantly faces this stereotype that many Black women do. She wants to show the world who she naturally is, and she says her strategy is to like really sit back and not really get involved with any of the conflicts, but keep stirring the pot. And it seems like she's doing a pretty good job of that. Like, I feel like Khat is one of the few people that so far is playing the way she said she was going to. And that's very good to see, because a lot of people are not like that. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of her already. I think if there is anyone in this game that could potentially get farther than the originals, it's her. I think definitely.
Oh,
that's,
100.
She's actually my winner pick next to like Chloe and Courtney.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something. Yeah, I have a top 3, and I'll say it now. My top 3 is, well, actually top 4. 3 is the magic number, but it's it's Khat, it's Chloe, no. Chloe's number 4. It's Khat, it's Courtney, and it's Trevor, because I feel like they have like a good grasp on what the game is. But what I love about Khat is that she's not afraid to just, take like her like self to the limit. She's not afraid to like go for, talking to people. And I always love when people like seeing these seasons of like who is in what up like these apartments. You always like look at an apartment, you're like, oh, that person was in that apartment, and she's in the same apartment Felix, aka Natalia from the Circle UK season 3 is in, and I'm like, winner vibes. I'm getting winner vibes. I already like feel the vibes coming, and it's just like
justice for River, apparently.
Honestly,
can we not? But yeah, justice for River. I don't think so, but okay.
I don't think anyone thinks. I mean, he's good. He's playing more like the middle game, I would say. Like, he's not at the top, but he's not at the bottom either. He's like in the middle for me.
Yeah,
at least.
Working for him.
Oh yeah.
For now. Anyway.
No, definitely.
But yeah,
so
Khat winner pick. I'm calling it now. See me in 2 weeks. Venmo me if I'm right. Thank you. Shade River.
All right. So we see Courtney's given an alert that it's time for his first mission as the Joker. He goes into the inner circle, and he's given a chance to see both the new players. And I like that he has a goal for both of them. With Mitchell, he wants to pitch the message to him that the girls are not to be trusted. And with Khat, he hopes to drive home the message that she cannot work with Terilisha, worried she will be snaked by her. Now, I do think there's a lot of work that Courtney does that was successful this week. This, though, I don't know if that was as successful, but we'll get into that. We see that Khat and Mitchell are studying the other players, and immediately Khat ends up clocking that Lance isn't really who he says he is. And she says that she herself is a diehard NSYNC fan. She also doesn't feel Emily is legit either. And this was amazing to me, the way that she immediately clocked it right off the bat. This is one of the reasons I think Khat has a lot of longevity in this game, is that there are a lot of people who are starting to be cognizant of the catfishes, but I don't think anyone did it as well as Khat really has. And she's kind of playing in the way I thought Terilisha was going to, where Terilisha in the beginning said, like, I'm very smart, I'm very inquisitive and things like that. I notice things that other people don't because of my math skills. And because of the whole Savannah thing that kind of got in the way of that, I feel like Khat is very much playing that way. And I really love the way that she immediately was able to clock the catfishes here.
Khat did the Lord's work. Khat knew what she needed to do. Again, Khat is my winner pick.
Is like, just so good. Like, she just has like such a good intuition.
She is just she is TV like gold, and it's just like I want to be her best friend. But the good thing that Courtney did do, and I said this earlier, was that Courtney made it seem, and we'll like get to the second part of his inner circle duties, but I feel like what he did was he made everything seem like it never was attached to Courtney. Like targeting Terilisha and Chloe and not using Emily's name, you instantly think, oh, the girls aren't working together. Emily is someone who we should watch out for. And then you see Courtney making River an influencer, and it's like, who's going to make River an influencer? That could be Terilisha, or that could be an Emily. So it's like you want to plant those seeds that will never grow to become the person that is being targeted.
No, definitely. I think that's something that he did do a really good job with. So we also see that she recognizes that Chloe is she recognized that Chloe is very much herself because she did watch Too Hot to Handle, and she loves Terilisha's love of silence, feels she can vibe well with Trevor. Seems like she's pretty much good with everyone. The only one she's doubtful of is Chloe, Lance, and Emily, and Mitchell feels a bit sketched out by Lance, but really they were doing some good work here. This was really good first impressions for both of them, I feel like, and they're then given permission to talk to the new players. Mitchell immediately strikes up a conversation with her. Mitchell hopes that they can form a close relationship as the newbies, and Courtney then immediately joins the chat. Any conversation they were having, it's hijacked by Courtney. He comes in as the Joker, and they're told the twist. They're told the details of the conversation with the Joker have to remain private no matter what. And Courtney hopes that he can make them believe that Emily's the Joker. So they start to feel sketched out by her. And he tells them that's a very dangerous game and people are playing very two-faced, and says that there's been no women empowerment the entire game. There's been a lot of lying and name-calling and unsure that one of the girls isn't who she says she is. And he specifically brings up the fact that he thinks for sure that Terilisha is a catfish and that Chloe isn't to be trusted. You can tell they're very overwhelmed by this, and I'm not entirely sure if this information was really had an impact on both of them with the way they end up going in the next few episodes, but I do think Courtney did a really good job in convincing them it was not him. Nobody's really on his radar right now thinking he's the Joker, so I do think he did a good job with that. I just don't know if the information he relayed to Khat and Mitchell really meant anything to them because of the way they end up playing the game.
Yeah. I mean, it does just make them aware of different types of people in the game. You know, I think that's the main goal. I don't think Courtney wanted to go in there and be like, I need to target Emily or Terilisha or Chloe for justice for Savannah. It's just like, I want these people to come into this game knowing that there are people who are going to talk to you but going to be really fake, and you need to watch out for the snakes. Who the snakes are, it's up to you to find out.
Also, yes, the true winner pick. I agree with that. That is definitely
no.
Oh no.
I'm gonna be real. The only Emily I stand is Emily Freeman. Period. That's the only Emily I will stand. Not Emily.
Also, my friend in
Queen too.
I love it. But yeah, no, Jack is not doing Emily justice. We'll get there, but I just can't. I just
don't like Jack.
Period.
Oh, I think it's you.
The players are then asked to play a game of Two-Face in which they are uploading 2 photos from their private gallery. One is showing them at their naughtiest and one at their nicest. Each player also has to choose one hashtag. What the existing players are unaware of is the new players lurking in the background, watching it all go down. During this, the players seem to be very sus of Emily not being who she says she is. Khat also still remains firm that Lance is a catfish.
Yeah, my opinion of the games is that a lot of them I do like, but a good majority of them are kind of meaningless. This was one of the only ones that I felt like, besides another one that comes up later on, that actually had like some sort of an impact because it really starts to sketch people out that Terilisha is in fact a catfish. So the only real flaw I have right now with the circle is that I just wish the games were a little bit more relevant and not like the pancake art, which we get a little bit later on. I think pancake art.
I was pointing. You said pancake, and I immediately thought of this hexagon. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, this is definitely more of like what I want to see when it comes to the games.
Yeah, well, I think the Two-Face one, it shows people need to like be careful of what pictures they choose because, like we saw with Terilisha, she honestly put a picture of her in a filter, and it didn't really make people. It made people more sus of maybe Terilisha being a catfish. You have to be wary about what pictures you post because I always see when I see these circle games is like when someone posts a picture of two people, you're automatically sus of like that one person could be the same person, but who's that other person? Is that other person the catfish of this person?
Right,
So it's like it's just you gotta. I don't think anyone had their photos that sus except for Terilisha. But I'm sorry. I love Lance Bass. I'm a huge NSYNC fan. But Lisa, girl, Lisa.
I just don't think.
He's like
I just don't.
hella cringe.
I just don't think Lisa's that good of a player.
She's really not. She's really not. She's had multiple opportunities to try to connect with the people, and it's just not. It's not happening for her.
There's also the thing about it is like, I just think Lisa. Well, first of all, I was watching this show with, shout out again, Emily Freeman. We were watching together and we both texted each other while we were watching. We were like, Lisa's on this show? Who's Lisa? Like, they did not show a lot of Lisa. And like,
I can't blame him. She's really boring.
She just says one-liners and you're like, oh, you're still in this game? Like,
I literally forget she's there.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, same. She's not someone that I enjoy watching, nor someone that like leaves an impact on me. She's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably going to be one of the next boots, honestly.
Yeah. Well, we'll see we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
After a while, the players are finally made aware of Mitchell and Khat being in the circle. Jack feels Mitchell is someone Emily would be flirting with, so he may need to work on that a bit. Chloe also seems into him. Courtney feels Khat is competition for Chloe, and Mitchell is competition for Trevor.
Yeah, I would say that. I would definitely say that's pretty accurate, especially the Mitchell and Trevor of it all. That's very that's very accurate. And yes, Jazzy is definitely right here, where that's pretty much why there's any relevance with her. Like if she wasn't playing as Lance Bass, like we would legitimately forget about her.
Yeah, she's very.
Oh, we have another comment here from a Ren Judoff. I don't know who this is, but
Legend.
Yes.
Iconic queen.
Oh,
The moment.
Yes. Everyone feels Mitchell is going to be a big flirt, especially with Emily. Deleesa is worried Mitchell may steal Chloe from her, especially with how well Chloe seems to be connecting with Trevor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be completely honest. When I first started watching this, Chloe was not the one I was like having my eye on. I was like, oh, it's Chloe from Too Hot to Handle. Great. I didn't really watch Too Hot to Handle, so I didn't know her story. But I love Chloe. Like these middle 4 episodes showed Chloe in such a positive light, in such a good light. Like she is playing the game. I
think everyone feels good with her.
Yeah, she's not ruffling any feathers.
In the best position right now.
What do you think of this take? Is she not like the female version of Freddie?
Oh my god. Yes.
I don't know who that is, so I can't say.
Freddie from UK season 1.
Baby. They're both from Essex.
Mm-hmm. Wait, Jenn. Stop.
I
know. Wait, you said Freddie, and I was like, yes, no, I'm going to stop. I'm going to watch the next 4 episodes thinking she's Freddie. No, because Freddie was the difference between Freddie and Chloe was Freddie was like the villain of the season. Freddie just like made everyone hate him. But Chloe is someone who you think she's the popular girl in the sense of like popularity, which she is, but she's very much on the precipice of like, I am.
Their extraness.
Yes.
I love both of them. That little tidbit is brought to you by Topher. Shout out Topher. Hey.
Oh yeah, he's also here. He was also in the chat.
Snaps for everyone. I love that. But yeah.
Not me pulling up these comments from like 20 minutes ago.
I was about to say, like, wasn't that like 2 hours ago?
Amazing.
Oh, yeah, Sam Baum was there too. I didn't pull his up.
I agree.
The chat opens up and Mitchell is the first one to start the chat. He is surprised by just how nice everyone is. Immediately, it seems like Terilisha is trying to make a connection with Khat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're both from Texas, so that is a good connection to have.
Yeah.
But we also have to remember that Khat was just told by the Joker that Terilisha is someone not to trust. So you gotta take everything with a grain of salt in the circle.
Yeah.
Chloe also seems to be smitten with Mitchell, which Deleesa is not thrilled by. Chloe is also thrilled to hear Mitchell is very much single. Courtney feels though Mitchell and Khat are playing nice. Now they are for sure keeping the information he told them in the back of their mind.
Yeah, which I think was probably the best way for them to go about it. You don't want to come in too strong being like, oh, we got to get out Terilisha. We got to get out Emily. Like, you literally just came in the game. I think it was smart for them to lay low here and kind of just let the chaos unfold.
Yeah. It is chaotic.
It is. Deleesa makes a new chat with Khat and Terilisha, calling it my beautiful black queens, which I love that.
Yes.
As she asks them about what they can do to help her with his little girl. Terilisha isn't exactly into this conversation at first, since she clearly wanted to talk more strategically with him.
Which is always Terilisha's MO. Like, she never wants to talk about anything but strategy.
That's true. She can be kind of game body.
Yeah, very much so.
Trevor then brings up the drama, which Terilisha isn't happy about because he is making it seem like she's the cause of it. Trevor says it would be great if they could clear the air and then maybe they can work as allies going forward. Terilisha tells Khat what happened, and Khat at first seems sus of her, but can tell she needs an ally here. Terilisha says while she was annoyed the past was brought up, this is what she needed to move forward.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this was a good conversation with them for sure. And I think it was definitely a good way where, let's say Terilisha gets out of this week, this was definitely a good way to have that connection. And I think that's kind of what Khat was thinking. Like, she didn't really care either way if Terilisha went or didn't. And she wanted to make sure she was good in both circumstances. So I think that's one of the things Khat did a really good job with here.
Yeah.
She made her relationship with Terilisha stronger. She made her, when you're a new person, you want to get straight to the relationships. You don't want to dilly-dally all over the place. You just want to make sure that, like, you're here and you're there. Exactly like Felix from UK3. Sorry, I can't, we've been, like, fed so much circle lately that I can't stop, you could have told me that the UK people moved out and the US people moved right straight in. Like,
it's possible that's what they did because, like, they're in the same building.
They are.
So I would not be surprised if that's the case. And yes, I agree with what Jazzy's saying here. Like, she definitely played very smart this round. So Lisa starts a new group with Chloe and River and asks what they think of the newbies. And I was like, all right, this is great. Lisa's finally starting to talk some game. And Chloe says that while everyone seems to like Mitchell, she's worried if Trevor is concerned about it. Lance says he talked to Trevor, and it seems they're both generally into each other. River also feels like she has nothing to worry about. She's struggling with what to tell them since she does clearly have feelings for Mitchell. And again, Lisa really doesn't do much here. Like, I thought maybe this would get her to finally make a solid connection that isn't just like playing basketball with Trevor, which they can't even see themselves doing, but like she still doesn't do anything here.
Wait, who are we talking about?
The fucking
Exactly.
Oh, Lisa.
Yeah, so Jen's favorite Jack, on the other hand, is feeling conflicted because he feels Emily would flirt with Mitchell, but obviously doesn't really want to himself. So we get this really awkward exchange with Mitchell and Emily, and she says the feelings are mutual for sure. Jack decides to like jokingly flirt with him just to like go along with it, and Mitchell seems to really love what Emily is saying and how well they're already bonding. Emily tells him about how last round she was one of the influencers, and Mitchell's very happy that he picked her to DM. He feels like this is really good information for him. Seems to be a really strong connection, but doesn't really last long. I'll just say that. Does not not exactly last long for Mitchell and Emily here. We see Courtney is actually given a new alert saying he has a final mission as the Joker. This is where things get a little overpowered, I think, because in addition to what he did before, he's now told he has to make a decision who he wants to be one of the next influencers at the next blocking, and he seems very unsure with who he wants to choose at this point. What do you guys think of this part of the Joker twist?
I would have chosen myself. Hello.
Yeah,
like
Honestly, yeah, like because I feel like if you choose yourself, like I feel like no one would really suspect that that you're the Joker, because like who would be stupid enough to pick them as like themselves? Like
exactly. And if people think, you can always be like, I didn't do it.
Like,
you
I
know?
would pick myself, honey. That's safety right there.
Exactly. It was definitely the best thing for him to do, but he
I would have been like,
what were we gonna say?
No, go ahead. Oh, I would have been like, circle message. Hello, me. I'm picking myself. Hashtag my people are here. Hashtag give me that influencer, you know?
Yeah.
Send.
Yeah, so we see the beginning of that's everything going down episode 5. We're finally done with episode 5. 35 minutes in. We've only talked about But getting into episode 6, we see Courtney's kind of like weighing out what he really wants to do here, but we don't find out what he does for a little bit. Instead, we see Jack starts this chat with Courtney, and Courtney says he doesn't trust Emily at all at the moment, but I like that he wanted to play nice with her. Like, he didn't want her to know just how against her he really was and how much he was really gunning for her. But we see Jack is hoping he can make a real connection here, and Emily brings up to him how Chloe said to her in the hangout that she felt super good with the both of them and River, and she's down to work with that for her. And Jack is feeling great, establishing an alliance of sorts. We see Courtney is still gunning very hard for her, but he wants to keep his cards close to his chest here. And I think Courtney handled himself as well as he could in this conversation. It's just Jack was really could not tell what was actually going on here, where this wasn't really Courtney agreeing to this alliance. It was more just him being like, all right, who are the people that are going to protect Emily? And I think that's something that Courtney did a good job with here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Courtney really fished for all that information from a catfish. It's just like, I feel like Courtney, Savannah really put into Courtney's mind Terilisha and Emily being people that you need to watch out for. And Courtney went to work. I don't think Courtney did a lot in the first 4 episodes. I mean, I love Courtney, but Courtney did work. Like, Courtney was the MVP of the first 4 of these next 4 episodes.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's definitely like, if Chloe's playing the best socially, I think Courtney's playing the best strategically.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. I actually tweeted that too.
Yeah.
Look at you. Yes.
Mitchell decides to start a private chat with Chloe. She hopes he ends up flirting with her. He immediately sweet talks her, and Mitchell is very happy with how this is going, since it's clear her and Emily could be close. They have a very flirtatious and sexual conversation about her being in the bathtub. Shout out to her old empty bathtub meme.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yes. This was such a funny turn of events. Like, the way that she's flirting with Mitchell and then immediately what happens after this. But again, it shows just how good of a social game Chloe really has at this point.
Just amazing.
Yeah. So fun.
I love when someone's in the middle of a conversation with someone and then it's like, it says private, who whatever has invited you to a private chat. It's my favorite thing because you're like, do I end this and go to another private chat? And it's just like reminiscent to, once again, you can call me out on it because I love the UK season 3 when Manrika was talking to Blue Tally and Orange Tally was like, please start a conversation with Manrika, and Manrika said no. Like, it's the power of, communication. And I think what Chloe did is Chloe's putting herself right in the perfect spot because Mitchell likes her, Trevor likes her, she has the girls who like her, she has the gays who like her. Like, if you have gays who like you, like, you better be on top of the world.
I gotta watch this season. So many like iconic moments. It seems like.
I need to watch more.
Please, you gotta watch it.
I need to watch the UK version.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't know
We should
about
watch
you,
it after
Jen.
this.
I don't know about you, Jen, but I think the UK version like tops the
Oh.
US.
By a fucking mile.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
have heard
God.
that. I have heard that.
Cat to UK.
Shout out the
Well-
UK version.
Shout out to the UK version.
Yes.
Shout out to Manrika.
We gotta get them to watch.
Stanrika's rise up. Stanrika's rise up.
In the tweet for that I posted about this video, we just gotta tag every circle player we can think of, and then we'll eventually get them to watch.
Oh, absolutely. On it.
Oh yeah.
Period.
You have the next.
Oh my God.
You have the next thing.
While flirting with Mitchell about her being in the bathtub, Chloe is then given a message that Trevor has invited her to a private chat. Chloe is conflicted with who she likes more. She feels like Trevor is more genuine and respectful. And they have a nice conversation about where he'd take her if she was on a honeymoon, and which Chloe loves how much he wants to get to know her. Deleesa also feels great after this conversation because Chloe is still is with Trevor.
I love how excited Chloe gets every time she's invited to a private chat. It's like it's like honestly like contagious, just like how excited she is.
Mm-hmm. So cute.
Yeah, it's
Like you just
incredible.
feel it. Yeah.
I love it. I love their relationship because it's funny because last week I remember Bryant saying when he visited River, it's like you're a catfish, but like deep down, like the connection we have is genuine. Like even without like
Yeah.
like the soul of like each other. I was like, Bryant, what are you on? Like, give me it. But like this week, it's like I feel like everyone, just because you're a catfish, you kind of put your own spin onto whoever you're catfishing, so you can like at least add like the genuine portions of you. So when they find out you're a catfish, like,
like I was really genuine this whole time, except they used a different picture.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Period, sis.
as it goes.
I think if I went on the circle, I would play Marcelo.
If I went on the circle, I would catfish as Jenn. I really would.
Yeah,
I really would.
We're gonna be on the same season and catfish as each other.
All right, season 3, watch out. Jenn and Marcelo are gonna take it over.
I'd be like, circle, please start a private message with Marcelo. Like, hey, it's me, Jenn. How are you? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Hashtag, I think you're catfishing as me. Hashtag, what is happening?
I need to see this season. I need to see this go down. Make it happen. Make it happen, Netflix. Come on.
Yes.
Yeah.
The players are then told they are all making pancake art and are to make the animal that best represents the personality. It's a fun segment that gets to showcase how a lot of these players are not the greatest artists. Khat and Trevor ultimately win this comp.
Which this is what I'm talking about with the comps. It's like meaningless. Like this means
nothing. Do you know who would be so good at this comp?
Who?
Me.
Yeah.
Well, that actually ties to a question that we got where Adam wants to know, what is your favorite food that someone makes on the show?
Well, I love pancakes, so
I always love when
the
people,
answer.
Yeah, pancakes. I don't really know what they make on the show.
I don't know what they really make. I mean, I
don't pay attention to that. I don't.
They made a cake in season 1 of US.
I don't take notes like Mitchell made this tonight.
Oh no, Mitchell made. I do remember. I think Emily told me, but Mitchell made like some sort of like chicken thing, and it was so crunchy, and I was like, "That shit is not cooked." You bake it again.
Ew.
Oh,
That's so gross.
so
But yeah,
All right, so
no,
let's not have Mitchell cook our food. That's
pancake
dangerous.
art-
Anything Mitchell
the-
does not make.
what does the pancake art like give us? Nothing. Like I'm
Exactly.
like I
it's
just
there for fun.
it gives us entertainment, which is like what we want. But like Kevin's just trying to tell us real.
That is the one thing I don't write about. No, I'm not. I'm not
But
that crazy.
it's just like, what is the point? Like, I saw, like, you make an animal, and if it's crap, like, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, not Jenn making a dog that doesn't look like a dog, like, Jenn's a catfish. Like, a catfish or not, I would make that, you know?
Yeah.
You don't know my artistic ability. Like, it's like, I mean, like, literally, like, and we'll get there, but it's like, you know, like the glam thing, like that was actually impactful in the game. You know what I mean?
It was.
Yeah, this was just. This is one of those things where like they just need a comp every single episode, and I don't know why.
It's more just filler.
Yeah, we don't need it.
I feel like do we need that? Like, if you're like,
No.
doing the games is like fun, but like do games that are more aimed towards
Beneficial.
creating drama or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like beneficial for your game.
100%.
Yeah, and then maybe if you win the comp, you get like a power or something like that. That'd be kind of cool, you know. It would still tie into the game, but like they haven't really learned how to do that yet. So I feel like that's something they got to work on.
Yeah.
It is.
The players are given a new alert. They are told about the Joker and what they have been doing for the week, and that they spoke to the new players immediately. No one seems to be onto Courtney. They are then told about the Joker's power. It is finally revealed Courtney has decided to pick River as one of the influencers for the round. Lee is thrilled that he finally got picked.
So he did not pick himself. He did not do the Marcelo strategy or the Jenn strategy.
Also, like, I'm going to be completely honest, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but had River not been picked as influencer, I don't think River is going to be an influencer anytime soon. I just don't see River in the top two.
He's very like he's not people's least favorites, but he's not people's favorite.
No. Yeah, he's like in the middle.
He's like, he is very much like, people are like, oh, River's nice. River's like a sweet person. He gives me like Nana Dot vibes from UK3. Like, you know, like you're not like just someone who's very cute and very personable, but like what? Like name like I don't know what else that person is going to be able to bring to the table. But who knows? My opinion might change next episode. Maybe River's like secretly like an icon and I'm just not realizing that.
Once again, don't shade River.
Shade River.
I love River. I think that
I do too.
I think the more that these episodes are like going, like he's doing more and more each episode. Like I think he's really growing into like it's, you know, you can only
every time he
people so like much. I don't know.
And he's
every
the
time
only
he cries,
people having clock, which I think is really impressive.
But like my thing is, I'm always sus of I'm watching the show. I know they're a catfish, but like I would be sus if someone's like, I think this person's a catfish. Like let's be catfish detectives. It's like, okay, we can be catfish detectives, but like you're very adamant about this. Maybe you're a catfish.
Yeah.
Check yourself this.
I just feel like I really wouldn't care about like searching for a catfish.
Same.
Yeah, I feel like after a while, once you're in the game and you're working with people, it doesn't really matter.
That's the thing.
I agree.
I think so. Like obviously, Jenn has watched the Circle season, so she probably gets the same feeling. But I don't know. I feel like the first season of US, UK, and like everything else was like you're playing the game and you're just focusing on like getting to the end. But now it's like this game has turned into who's a catfish and how do we block them. Like I just think like it's not about being an influencer. It's like blocking catfishes. Like that's what I get. That's the vibe I've been getting from this season.
Especially this week.
Yeah, you're not wanting to get anyone out. You're kind of just wanting to get like the catfish to be blocked. I don't know. It's a weird concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The players are then asked to give their rankings for this week, barring Khat and Mitchell as options since they are both new players.
Now, I said this last week, and I'll say it again. I wish they would release the full rankings for every player, but we don't really get to see it. What we do see is we see Mitchell has Emily at 1. Not surprising, considering the connection that they made. River has Lance at 1, and Courtney, which Lance at 1 was interesting. I feel like that's the only person that has Lance that high. And then Courtney at number 2. Khat has Courtney at number 1. Alicia has Terilisha at number. This was really weird to me. Lisa having Terilisha at number 1.
Guest star. Hi.
Oh my God, we have a nice little cameo.
One quick thought on the circle. Anybody from Essex is a fucking legend. Oh my God. I'm going to everything because I'm from fucking Essex. That's all I
Yes. All right. That was a great that was a great little cameo from our fellow Londoner Topher. That was great.
I'm out. Yeah, that was everything I needed in my life.
I love that so much.
Oh my God.
That was great. So Lisa puts Terilisha at number 1, which I definitely have some thoughts on. Terilisha has Chloe at number 2 and Trevor at number 3. Jack has Terilisha at 2 and Trevor at number 5. And Deleesa has Lance at number 4. Again, not too many surprises here. Aside from Lisa putting Terilisha at 1, I did not understand the strategy here. She's like, oh, most people are going to put her at the bottom, so I'm going to put her at 1. Like, I don't know what she's doing.
Okay, that strategy is cute, but like, you got to realize that like everyone has that strategy. Oh, I'm going to put this person as number 1 because everyone's going to put them last. That's going to be like the next person says. Like, I'm going to put Meredith from Walmart as number 1 because everyone's going to put her as number 6. And then Meredith from Walmart's an influencer and she blocks me. Like, play the game. Put whoever you need to at last, whoever you need to at first.
Do like your main connections at the top and then,
100%.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that was a really weird strategy for sure. But we see another misstep that Terilisha makes, I think, where she's immediately desperate to know who the Joker was. She wants to know. She decides to start a private chat with Khat, and she asks her what she knows who the Joker would be. Khat says it's very hard to dictate since she's new. Terilisha asks what was said, and Khat tells her the truth, and she says she doesn't listen to rumors, and she wants to get to know these people herself. So Terilisha, shook by what the Joker says, tells Khat she thinks that it has to be Emily, and this is where we get to the thing I think Terilisha did the worst this week, is that she's so convinced that, like, oh, Chloe is someone that's such a close ally of mine, but from what we saw in this episode, she didn't even talk to Chloe this round. So like, I don't understand why she felt so good with her if she didn't even talk to her,
or she did, but it wasn't as important as the other convos.
We had to show that pancake art, that's so important.
Priorities, got to show that pancake art. It's interesting because there are conversations that we don't see, and I wish, like, obviously I don't wish we saw every conversation because girl, I'm not about to watch 24 hours of The Circle where people are like, circle message.
We need live.
You'll never guess what happened.
They should just like do like deleted scenes after the season or something.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. But no, Terilisha definitely shouldn't have been so gung-ho about who the Joker was because there's so much. The Joker is only one bit and piece of the puzzle. Like, make your connection. Someone's about to get blocked, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Not smart. But the official rankings do come out, and they are as follows. We see Terilisha's at the bottom, which I think we pretty much expected with the way she handled things this week. Lance is at number 5. Again, not surprising considering just how bad Lisa is at the game. Emily's at 4. Trevor's at 3. And then the Chloe is at 2. And then we see
Courtney's at 1. Courtney.
Yes.
Yes.
Courtney is at 1.
I closed my eyes and Kevin was gone. I was so confused.
Oh, my dad was handing me props for like my org. So we got the ping pong balls and we got a can of soda.
Period. Yes.
Is that what you
org drawer?
Courtney.
Are those your tonight? Are those your things for tonight?
Not the soda, but the ping pong balls. Yes, I need those.
This is my org equipment.
Yeah.
Oh shit, let's go. Solo cups.
Yes. I don't have anything near me.
I have a bunch of org stuff.
But yeah, we love to see it.
Yeah, Courtney being at number 1 was honestly kind of amazing, considering that he, like you said, could have put himself as one of the influencers, and he just felt that good about his game that he didn't feel he needed to do that. He felt that he was at number 1, and normally that's something where, you know, arrogance can really fuck you over in a game like this, but I think it speaks to how good Courtney handled this round that he was at number 1 there. I thought that was very impressive.
It was.
Yeah. And Courtney being and Chloe being at number 2, that's pretty accurate as well.
Yeah.
Well, she's been in the top very, 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 very much the entire time. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
Keep it coming, girl. Keep it coming.
Yeah, she's killing it.
Queen. River and Courtney both go to the hangout to make their decision. They both are very happy they are making this decision together. When talking about the blocking, they make it clear Chloe is safe no matter what this week. Courtney feels Lance, though, he hasn't made a connection with. He is overall harmless, and Lee feels like this will help him since no one is going to bring him to the finale. They both decide to keep him. When talking about Trevor, River says he chatted with him a few times and maybe a possibility to be blocked. However, Courtney is really wanting to keep him around and feels there are bigger fish to fry this round. Lee is still unsure if he wants to keep him around.
Yeah, this was the one thing where I was like, oh no, is this going to fracture their relation? But I like that they were able to like move past it. This was not like a Terilisha and Savannah thing where like them being influencers like hurts their relationship. It seems like they actually did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, hi, Chrissy.
They did a really good job because you have to feed off the other person, because if you take control, like we saw with Chloe and Emily, Chloe was like, what do you think of this person? Emily's like, they're cute. And Chloe's like, okay, and like Chloe was like trying to get more information out of Emily. But with these two, they very much had their ducks in a row, and they're like, who don't we want to get rid of? Who do we want to get rid of? So I think this was
the most successful influencer round so far. Definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
When speaking about Emily, he waits for River to speak how she feels. Meanwhile, Lee is unsure what their relationship really is like. Courtney tells him about the alliance Emily proposed. River says he's unsure how to feel about her. Courtney then brings up how little he trusts Emily and could be an option to block this round. They then bring Terilisha up, and River says, unfortunately, while he feels good with her, personally, he feels there is still a lot of tension from the last blocking. Courtney confesses to him the information Savannah told him about Terilisha and wanting to block him the first blocking, and is worried if she stays, then he'll go. River says he is okay with removing Trevor now, so it's down to Terilisha and Emily.
Also, I'm pretty sure it's Marcelo. I think we know that answer.
We've been there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's
Shout
Marcelo.
Shout out my people. Shout out the Joker.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Terilisha, this was the perfect time for Courtney to strike at Terilisha and Emily because
100%.
and we'll get to the blocking. Actually, I'll just let y'all continue and talking about the blocking. Yeah. Say more words after that. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
The players are then told the influencers have made their decision, and the player they have decided to block this week is, no surprise, Terilisha.
What? Oh my god, no spoilers. Oh my god, I can't believe it.
I know, it's so shocking.
Right?
But Courtney did that. Courtney did that, which I was surprised River allowed Courtney to do that, because we saw a lot of Terilisha and River being like hashtag big sis little brother. Like,
yeah.
We didn't see any of that here.
Yeah. And it's like the little brother took out the big sis.
He really got his revenge for his girl Savannah. Like, he really said, I'm a loyal ass.
I actually did like their friendship, though, like Courtney and Savannah's.
It was cute.
Oh, yeah.
Cute.
It was really cute.
Yeah, they definitely could have gone far together. But like I said, I think I think as much as Courtney did such a great job, I don't think Terilisha really helped herself this round either. She was way too fixated on who the Joker is. She really didn't do much to try to present other targets out there. At least to my knowledge, we didn't see her check in with like the girls group, which it seemed like she was really good with. She just did not have very good game awareness this round. Her focus was, it seemed like, talking to the new players and figuring out who the Joker was, and that's kind of it.
Honestly, Savannah and Terilisha went from being like they could win, but then to messing up their own games.
It'll be super interesting to see like how the dynamic shifts now that like both of them are gone, and like the first 4 episodes literally like basically surrounded around like the Terilisha and Savannah drama, and now they
were the main characters.
Now they're gone. It's like, who's next? And obviously we get to who's next, but it's like you definitely Terilisha was someone who people were rooting for to win the game, but her own fault, lack thereof, was the reason that caught up to her. She was honestly, ever since her and Savannah got the first influencers, I felt like that's the hardest to navigate, because you kind of have to, really look at who you're trying to block, but also they both shot themselves in the foot by like targeting each other and not working together. And once one left, the other was on borrowed time.
Right.
Pretty much. And they weren't on the same terms either. I think that's also what hurt them.
Oh yeah, never.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if Manrika and Gemma were influencers, we'd have like a world war of things. Goodness. Sorry, UK season 3 talk. Let's go with not that.
I gotta watch this season. I gotta watch it.
Jen and I will have our own podcast about UK season 3. You just watch it. We'll spill all the tea.
All right, there you go.
You'll be guests. You guys can be guests on our podcast.
Yeah.
We'll flip it.
It'll be the other way around.
Exactly.
Love that.
A conversation with the catfishes. There we go. That'll be the podcast.
Oh, thank you for giving us a name. Thank you. We don't have to do that. Period.
All right, so we're going to go to episode 7 now.
Okay.
Period.
All right. Terilisha seems heartbroken over being blocked. The majority of the players are sad to see her go, minus Chloe, who's convinced she's a catfish, and Courtney is basically orchestrating her demise.
Yeah.
She isn't sure who she wants to visit at first, and ultimately decides to meet with Chloe. She is delighted to see she is in fact who she says she is, and Chloe tells her she was convinced she was a catfish. She thought it was because of the filter she had on and didn't feel she could feel her personally behind a catfish. She asks her who she thinks may be a catfish, and Chloe says she's had her suspicions about Trevor, though they've had the connection. The way he's spoken sounds more like one of the girls. Terilisha then tells her what happened with Savannah and that she saved Emily, and Chloe expected Savannah to save her. And that after what happened, she didn't feel she could trust any of the girls. And she tells Chloe she feels Emily is the Joker because of what Khat said.
Yeah, this was a really productive conversation. It also is something I think Chloe really needed to hear, kind of sussing out Emily, realizing that, though she feels good with Emily, Emily isn't someone that she can be as close with compared to some of the other connections that she had. So I think this was definitely a really good conversation with for Chloe, for sure.
Definitely. It was good for Chloe to get that closure that Terilisha was not a catfish, but also it was really good for her to get closure that she's not the only one who thinks Emily is a sus person, who thinks that Emily is a catfish. And this, honestly, probably, for me, marks Emily's downfall that we see in this next 2 episodes. Because Emily, have not been a fan of Emily since Jack walked in the door day 1. But it's like, Emily is someone who people were like, oh, she's the popular girl, and then immediately gets clocked very quickly. But I think Chloe needed Terilisha to visit her. I was surprised Terilisha visited Chloe. I thought Terilisha was going to visit either Courtney or River, because I thought she was visiting River because River turned his back on Terilisha. But you're right, Kevin. They definitely had a really good conversation because, Chloe needed that.
Yeah. It's cute, too. Just really, hang out.
Yeah. It was like girls' night out, you know?
Let's
Yeah,
go.
for sure. But,
No.
we see the next morning, Courtney's feeling ecstatic that he got Terilisha out, but he knows that Emily has to be the one that's next. He makes that very clear. And Chloe's still overcome that Terilisha was actually real. They receive this new video from Terilisha, and they're all really surprised that she wasn't a catfish. And she talks about how she had to fight this uphill battle with defending her character. She knows that she's not the person that she was made out to be. And Courtney is still not impressed by her message. He's not at all. He thinks that she is just being way too nice and things like that, and he just doesn't like her. I don't think these two are ever going to get along. I think even after the season, I don't know what beef they have, but I just don't think these two really vibe at all. We see Chloe is very concerned with the fact that everyone up to this point has been real, and everyone seems to be picking up on the fact that Emily and Trevor are catfishes. And this part I do understand why they're worried, because the fact that people are catfishes. But again, it's like you're working closely with those catfishes. I don't know why you're so scared of them getting to the end, especially if you think you have a better case than them. I don't know why that's such a fear of some people, but Chloe admits to everyone that Terilisha did come to see her, which I thought was really interesting. This is the first time someone flat out admitted who they went to see, and she makes it clear if people didn't think she wasn't a catfish, they would not have sent her home. So Trevor's asking who could potentially be the Joker. Chloe immediately deflects the conversation, which makes, or Courtney immediately deflects the conversation, which makes Mitchell very suspicious of what was going on. And Lisa, because he pretty much thinks this kind of, and I thought this was going to be really bad for Courtney with him thinking that he could be the Joker, but it doesn't really come up, which again speaks to how good Courtney really is doing. But we see Lisa decides to message both Khat and Mitchell. I'm like, again, great. Lisa's finally doing some strategy here. Again, doesn't really work out because Khat immediately is questioning Lance on what he's really doing here. She does something that I thought was really interesting. She brings up how big of a fan she was. That not only did she see him perform as a kid, but she remembers the exact jacket that he was wearing. And Lisa's thinking, yeah, Lance would not remember what jacket that he was wearing. But I'm thinking, Lance probably saw footage of him performing at this concert, so he'd probably have some kind of an answer. So she basically gives a non-answer, says that he would not remember that, and this pretty much is proof to Khat that Lance is a catfish. And again, Lisa just not playing well here at all. Furniture at this point, absolute furniture, and I don't think there's another way to describe it. She really is just not playing great.
Yeah, IKEA really wasn't giving me much this episode because I feel like there's so much that you should know. If I'm the personal assistant of give me a celebrity, someone name a celebrity, Jenn, celebrity.
Harry Styles. There we go. I did it.
Period. If I was Harry Styles' personal assistant and I was hey, Harry, if I was his assistant, obviously hey, Harry, I'm going on the circle. Can you please give me some tips? He would give me tips.
I think what she should have done is she should have been just sis, do you think I remember what the fuck I wore 20 years ago? That was actual tea.
Yeah.
Who the fuck actually remembers a jacket that they wore on stage 20 years ago? Nobody.
Nobody.
I wore yesterday.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
I don't remember what I did 2 hours ago.
Literally.
But yeah, no.
I was making the thumbnail for this video. That's what I was doing 2 hours ago.
I was getting my dose and going to Costco.
Period.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Lisa.
Also, Jazzy loves your accent, Marcelo.
Oh my god, thank you, Jazzy. It's my BFA in acting, if I'm being real.
BFA,
Yes.
period.
Yes, iconic.
Yes, we do love that. So the players are then notified about the next challenge. And when we talked about the challenges before, we talked about how they're fairly inconsequential. I think we can all agree this wasn't anything but inconsequential. This was a very major turning point for a certain someone in the game. basically the game is called Glamma Queens, something like that. Glamikins, that was it. And they're told the challenge is going to be hosted by a very special guest. Turns out to be Jonathan Van Ness from Queer Eye, and the comp is essentially dressing a mannequin that is meant to look identical to who they are. They're only given 30 minutes to complete it, and this does increase the paranoia within the players, because we see Trevor is convinced that he would not be as good if he was legit. We see that they're very much on Trevor's case, where it's like, yeah, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem like something a guy would make. Same with Emily's, who they feel makes it clear she's not who she says she was. And that's really, Emily is really the one that gets the brunt here. Trevor does end up winning the comp, so it works out well for him, but Emily is really the one that gets the brunt here, because Jack's design is horrible.
And even for Trevor, I felt like Deleesa almost did too good of a job, where it's like, girl, you're playing your husband. Does your husband have that?
Yeah, she needed to downplay her artistic skills a bit, because it did seem very sus. But I think because of what happens with Emily, thankfully that was kind of overshadowed by everything, because Jack is convinced I'm fucked here. I'm not getting out of this, and he really doesn't do a lot to save himself.
No, he did absolutely.
It wasn't even his fault though. That was really shitty. I don't like him. Don't get me wrong, but I think that was completely unfair, because
he was in a really good position until that challenge.
He was.
I think I don't think necessarily that, but this completely screwed up.
I mean, I'm gonna say an unpopular opinion, and please come for me if you want to, come for me if you don't. But you're
right, Twitter. You know what to do.
Yeah, Twitter, get your fingers ready. I think that this challenge was really good, because I agree. It was to show who was a catfish and who wasn't. Point blank. This challenge was to show if people really who are they say they are. And I'm sorry, if I was Jack and I was going into the circle catfishing as a girl or as someone of a different gender or whatever. Girl. Yes. First things first. I would go on Google and be like, hey Google, give me the top 50 makeup brands. Because you know
that, sister.
What'd you say?
Girlies are going to be talking about the makeup.
Yes. We saw it last season when Seaburn was in a chat with the girls and they were talking about their periods, and he's like, I got cramps on the left side. It's you just you have to know everything and anything about makeup. You have to know everything and anything about
is that I even know 5 makeup brands.
But the tea is you could make it work. Do you know at least 3?
CoverGirl. I know CoverGirl, Maybelline.
Exactly. He made some stuff up. I wouldn't make anything up. I wouldn't be
Beverly Hills Cosmetics.
Could you imagine if someone's Anastasia Beverly Hills? I would be yes, but that was number 1 all the time. But it's you have to remember that people are going to ask you questions. Everyone thinks everyone's a catfish. Right. I think y'all are catfishes, so I'm going to ask you questions,
Right.
It's you have to figure out what you're going to be talking about. And when someone asks you to do a mannequin about, I'm sorry, there's no excuse. That mannequin was ugly.
I thought she was kind of cute.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We love some opinions.
But
I was just where are you going with this? It really screwed his game up. And Jonathan Van Ness, bless Jonathan Van Ness's heart. Jonathan Van Ness was oh, Emily, you didn't really have a lot of time. No, sis, you had 30 minutes.
Yeah, he was so nice about everyone. I was I could not be this nice.
If it was me, I would have like painted a face, painted a mug, and called it a day. You know.
Right. Well, poor Jack. He doesn't know the difference between like powder and like the liquid foundation. Like he just doesn't know.
Yeah.
But you should learn that before you get there. Like at least the basics, like what makeup, what foundation to use.
Yeah, just like, do like stage makeup.
Because like girls are gonna ask, like they'll be like, "Oh shit, he looked really cute in that pic. Like, what foundation do you use this?"
Right.
Like in UK season 1, there was the girl. What was her name? Was her name Aiden? No, what was her name?
Oh yeah, Aiden.
Aiden and Kate, Kate was played by a guy, and Kate told Aiden about the makeup she was using with her eyebrows.
Yeah.
And Aiden had said something that Kate was like, "Oh, I don't know what it is." But Alex, who was catfishing as Kate, like wrote it down and was like, "Oh, this is what it is." Like, do your research, girl. Like, write a 500-word paper, 500 word. That's easy. Like a 1,000-word essay on makeup, and then like take that to the circle. Sorry, I just got my soapbox.
Clearly, Alex was better at the circle than Jack. So
Clearly.
Oh yeah.
Clearly.
But yeah, I'm agreeing even though I haven't seen it. But anyway, Allie can
just nod and say yes.
Oh yeah, smile and nod.
Mitchell then decides to make a chat with all of the guys, known as the Brotherhood. Everyone seems into it. They feel this is an alliance that could take them far. They joke about starting a new boy band. Deleesa then turns the conversation towards strategy and asks what he feels about the women in the game. Mitchell says he's feeling great with Emily and Chloe. Mitchell realizes that Chloe and Trevor have also been flirting and that he wants to be his wingman for Emily. Mitchell loves the bond they are forming and are able to not let this get in the way of their games. They seem to be a great cat for all of them.
Yeah, I thought this was great for Mitchell. He was already doing a really good job, with like both Chloe and Emily, and I thought this was definitely something that could take him a lot farther than I think he would. Especially the fact that like he is eligible to be blocked this round. I think this was definitely the right move, and I think this, especially him working closely with Trevor, I think that could definitely help him out.
100%.
I agree.
Yeah, I thought you did a good job with that. So we then get, it's you that's still talking.
Good thing we have notes because there's so much.
I know.
Chloe decides to make a private chat with Mitchell. Her plan is to try to flirt with all of the guys because it's working for her so far. He is unsure if he really wants to go about this and do this to Trevor. He instead tries to spark a conversation with her, which Chloe is surprised by. She feels he may be speaking to one of the other girls. He says he doesn't want to step on Trevor's toes, and he tells her he wants to get to know her more on a friendly level, and she is upset that he basically friend-zoned her. She tells him he's confused about the flirting, and he says he'd rather take the time to get to know her better and doesn't want to flirt to get higher ratings.
I loved this conversation. It was such a 180 from the last one, but it showed that he also like generally cares about Chloe and he cares about her feelings and he doesn't want to get in the way of what he thinks is a legitimate relationship. But of course, the reason the storyline's so funny is because Chloe doesn't realize the person that she's attracted to is not really who he says he is, which I think it's going to be really funny when either one of them get out and realize who the other are. I think that's going to be really funny to watch.
I really hope they make Final Table because I want to see that interaction. I want to see.
Same.
I want to see a Trevor meets Chloe, Chloe meets Trevor. I've wanted it every season. We got the drama that we needed in UK season 3 when Hashu met Manrika and Manrika met Natalia. And then we got the drama we needed in season 1 when Dan met Alex. So I don't think we're gonna get because no one's really putting in an effort to make a showmance with a catfish. So we're not gonna get a drama, but period. Yeah.
Yeah, watch episode 9. They're gonna make things official.
They're gonna just I was about to say sex, but you really can't.
Oh no, I heard they have. I heard it happened.
I mean, Dan in season 1 and how do you say her name? Mairead or
Mairead.
That's right. They were getting
they were getting frisky.
Hot and heavy.
And then she's like, surprise, I'm a 58-year-old woman.
Yeah, like I can be your mama.
God, literally.
And he's like, oh.
Yeah, but no, I think Trevor and Chloe and Mitchell and Chloe. I like how Mitchell was like, I'm not gonna step on Trevor's toes. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I did not like the boys chat though. I was like, ugh, if I was added to a boys chat, I'd be like, where are my girls at?
Right? Same.
Yeah, is this the brother? Like, is this the brigade? Like, I want out of here.
I'd be like, why are you buying this group?
No.
Yeah.
Before the night is over, the players are given an alert that tomorrow's ratings will result in a double blocking.
And we get maybe like Chloe's best line where she's like, tomorrow 6 players will be blocked. No, 5.
Yeah, she really did not know math. She said we're going to go to a final 5? Or wait, was it? How many of them
I think
are there?
I think she said there's.
Yeah,
it's
she
gonna
said
be
5 and then it was 6. That was
no,
it.
no, I think she said final 7 and then 6.
Yeah.
She was. Yeah, she did not know her math.
It was so
But
funny.
Yeah, that was
they've
great.
They've never really had a. No, they have. Never mind. Carry on. I was going to say they've never had double blockings, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, I mean, you would know and I would not. So anyway, we finally get to episode 8 here. An hour and 19 minutes in, we finally get to the last episode we're talking about. We see Jack is really stressed out. He's thinking that this fucked over his game.
Good. He should be stressed out.
Yeah, and everyone else seems unconvinced that Emily butchered the challenge as bad as she did. And so he decides to make this chat with Lance, which that was your first mistake. Why would you talk to Lisa of all people? He's not going to do anything for you, but they're able to initiate a bond of sorts. She asks about his cosmonaut training and then asks how she feels about the game. And Lisa says she's very worried about tonight, but Emily has nothing to worry about, which I don't know about that. But Lisa says she's doing this just to see if Emily also feels the same way about her. Again, just very confusing strategy to me. She's not really throwing out any names. She's not talking about who they really need to go after. You've had like 3 rounds now to make genuine connections, and she just failed at doing so. And that's why Lisa's just been so utterly disappointing for me.
Yeah.
So we see Deleesa's playing to do what she can for Trevor to be an influencer tonight. She wants to make sure that it does happen. She makes a private chat with Khat, and Khat says that she wants to turn the attention away from Mitchell and focus solely on the possible catfishes. And Khat feels working with Trevor can help her dictate the game in the way she wants to. Of course, as she doesn't know, that's also a catfish. But basically, this conversation also seems to quell Kat's suspicions of Trevor being a catfish, which I think is really interesting for Khat, of all people, who immediately clocked the catfishes, that she doesn't think that Trevor's a catfish anymore. I think that's really interesting how that whole thing worked out. But we see maybe the most, I think, promising alliance we've had so far, where Lee decides to message Chloe and Courtney, because at this point he wants them to be the final 3. He makes it clear, like, we need to be the final 3. He makes this chat, and it's called Kardashian Love, which we already kind of had this chat before. Last week, we already saw them talk things out, and Chloe says she feels they're the only people she can truly trust at this point. Obviously, she's not really on Emily's good side. She thinks Mitchell's being a bit sketchy, and they both agree that something is off and that Emily could very well be a catfish. Chloe's unsure what to do, though, because they've become so close, and Courtney says all she needs to do is keep her friendship with Emily, and the rest is going to work out. And I really think this is a promising 3. I think this is really going to help out Chloe. I think the only real issue is the fact that Courtney and River are so close, and I think people might start to recognize that. I don't know if y'all saw the preview for next week, but we see the fact that they're kind of sussing that out already. So I do think this is really good. I do think this is really good for Chloe, though, because this is yet another alliance that she can depend on. So now she has Trevor, she has this 3. She's just pretty much good with everyone at this point. I think that's why Chloe is going to continue to rise up.
Yeah, she's going to continue to thrive because she is she's everyone's number 1 in the sense of like she's not nobody's targeting Chloe, which I feel like, look, she's been in the top 3 this entire time, like at least top 3, top 4. Like she's going to be a target at the end. People are going to need to get her I love Chloe.
yeah.
People are going to need to get her out soon, but it's just one of those things where she really needs to remember her alliances and not get them mixed up, because it could be a downfall.
Yeah, for sure. I think definitely that's the thing that could potentially fuck her over. But I think Chloe's good enough socially to where she could be able to like weasel herself out of that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with I agree with Jazzy here. I think these are the two front runners at this point. I really do.
100%.
She's back again.
Yes.
Best. We love an entrance.
We do.
We missed you.
Missed y'all.
We did.
But I could see Chloe or Khat winning as well.
I can see it too.
Oh, yeah.
Khat is someone who I want Khat to win. I just feel like Khat just is such a. I've talked about this entire podcast, but Khat is just the pinnacle of the circle.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, a new game begins called Don't At Me, and this time the players get to ask questions to another player anonymously. Chloe is asked right off the bat about her relationship with Trevor and if she's using it to further her game, and Chloe asks it. In reality, she wants to know if she'd use Trevor over the two of them, but Chloe says she loves to flirt, but she wouldn't mess with someone's feelings and is genuine towards Trevor, which I do like her answer.
Yeah, this was a really good answer, but also, like I said, this is yet another challenge that I want to see more of. Like, this is definitely closer to what I want to see. It is a good way of exposing certain things in the game that people might not be aware of, but also seeing if people are legit in that way. So I think Chloe handled herself really well when it came to this answer, especially with some of the other answers we get, which are less than stellar. Let's just say that.
Agree. Jack then asks Courtney a very pressing question about him playing fake nice with everyone and is going to the end with starting players. He says he's just been himself the whole time. He's also pretty convinced it's Emily that asked the question, which it's kind of harsh, like the question that he asked.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, yeah, I'm just like, this game is not, like, it's not a cutthroat game. It's like, just try to be as popular as you can be. So, like, I'm sorry if you're someone who supposedly is trying to get in the good graces of people, like, okay, that's the name of the game. Emily's question was very pointed at Courtney. Yeah. And I was like, okay, and like Courtney stays with it.
Yeah, for what? Especially when you already know like you're at risk. This is what Jack needed to not do, which was like rock the boat, and he did.
Mitchell then asks Emily a question about makeup brands. Jack does thankfully have a makeup box, and as Emily says, though she doesn't use makeup, she does have a few which the players stop because some don't even sound legit besides like one.
Yeah, I think she said like Sephora, and then I don't remember what the other two were that he said.
She said Maybelline, and then she said like something in Co, and people were like, "What is that?"
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how he thought that this was going to work out. I agree with Marcelo. I think if he knew going in he was going to play as Emily, he should have at least like taken notes about things that could come in handy, which I think we saw last week Deleesa did. Deleesa did that as like advice from Trevor. From the real Trevor, and I think she did a good job with that. I think Jack should have definitely done that for when he was Emily, or at least ask her for like some makeup brands, and yet he didn't. And I thought that was really weird.
Yeah. River asks a question to Trevor about him playing as a catfish. Lee hopes this can disconnect Chloe and Trevor and can stay solely with the Kardashian alliance. Deleesa says Trevor says he wants to stick to his morals and says she isn't really being shady since he has a daughter and was raised by a single dad, so she's created a persona of who she is.
Yeah, this was interesting. This was interesting that he asked this question. I think it shows that River is doing a pretty good job when it comes to this alliance, but it definitely puts a target against him and Trevor for sure. I would definitely worry if my name is Trevor or Lee for the next round.
I know.
Yeah. I just liked the answer because it was very good. It was a good answer.
Oh yeah.
If we were on Family Feud, I would say, "Good answer,
Good
Trevor.
answer,
Good
good
answer. Good answer."
No, but legit, I really liked this challenge a lot. I'd like to see more stuff like this. Like I said, I think this is much more what we need to see, and not the fucking pancake art. As well as good as Jenn would be at it, we don't need to see the pancake art. So after the game, Mitchell's invited to a private chat with Emily. Jack hopes that this can keep him on her good side because they did have a connection of sorts. And Mitchell says he doesn't want to write her off and hopes that Emily is legit since she was the first person he connected with in the game. It's very vague, though. This is not a very good conversation. We see Mitchell does reveal how close he is with all of the guys. It does seem to win Mitchell over, but he's still unsure where he really does stand with her. So it did a little bit in keeping him a little bit more optimistic about his relation with Emily, but I don't think it did enough at all.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he really needs to do more here.
And Jack, Jack had no reason to talk to Mitchell. Like that was not the person to talk to. If anything, like talk to a Khat or something. Because that's someone who doesn't have as much influence in this game as being a person who just came in, and you needed to really value your people more. So.
Yeah, definitely. So we see Khat invites Chloe to a private chat. They discuss her being on too hot to handle, and Khat brings up the question that was thrown at Chloe, and they talk about who they feel good with in the game. Khat really only feels good with Mitchell at this point, which I think was good for her to say. I like that she didn't reveal her other connections here, and it made sense with Mitchell considering they came in the house together, and she tells her what Terilisha told her about the Joker. Khat makes it clear she isn't going off anything that the Joker said, and Chloe says that the mentality she has right now is a winning one, and she feels great with her, and it seems they both feel really good with each other. And again, yet another great connection with Chloe. Everyone just feels great with her, and we love to see it. We really just love to see Chloe's social game just building.
Mm-hmm.
She's truly thriving.
Yeah, she really is. So the players are then told it is time for them all to rate each other. The ratings again goes as follows. We see Jack puts Chloe at number 1. He puts River at number 4. Chloe puts Khat at number 1 and puts Emily all the way at the bottom, which is not surprising considering the way things have played out. Khat puts Trevor at number 1, which I thought was interesting, and puts Chloe at number 3. Deleesa puts Khat at number 1, puts River all the way at number 5. Lee puts Courtney at the bottom. And then we see Courtney puts Lance at number 7, and Mitchell puts Courtney in number 6, apparently. So
and Lisa puts Mitchell at 2.
Yeah, and Lisa puts Mitchell at 2 as well. So that's what we do get. We see not too many surprises here, I would say, really at all. Pretty much what we expected, but Deleesa messages River and says that she hates people that are talking behind her back. And Lee is laughing about this since he's the one who asked Trevor this question. And he says he believes that Trevor is real, even if that isn't true. And Trevor says he's unsure who thinks otherwise. And he says that Chloe and Courtney have him. And I thought, again, Lee handled this conversation really well. Even though he's on to Trevor, he doesn't really want to rock the boat in that way. He doesn't want to create some sort of rivalry against him, a la what happened with Savannah and Terilisha. So, and I think that's the one positive about that, is that now a lot of the players are trying to make sure that they don't end up like them. They're trying to make sure that even if they have a target, it doesn't end up like Savannah and Terilisha, where it makes both of them so obvious as playing too hard. I think Lee handled himself pretty well with this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. With all the guilt that Trevor was trying to put Lee in, Trevor was trying to put River into, I think they both got what they wanted out of this conversation, and we shall see how that transpires in the next couple episodes.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. But the players are told the official ratings are in. However, the catch tonight is that there are no influencers. The blocking is completely dependent on the rating. So we see that Chloe's at number 1 again, which just absolutely killing it. And then we see Khat has made it all the way through number 2. Yes. Again, the final 2 right there.
Queens icon.
Yes. We see River is at number 3. Trevor is at 4. Mitchell at 5. Courtney's moved all the way down to 6 at this point, which I was like, holy shit, is Courtney actually going to go here? But then we see...
I was scared. I was like, my heart was beating because while I was watching, I was like messaging Emily. I was like, okay, 1 out of 4. All right, perfect. Khat is safe. Perfect. Or I'm sorry, Chloe's safe. Perfect. Khat is safe. 2 out of 4. Incredible. Yep. Trevor's safe. 3 out of 4. Incredible. Where's Courtney? Where's Courtney? Where's Courtney?
No.
I was like, if Courtney goes here, season canceled. I'm unsubscribing from Netflix. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Was your heart racing as much as Jack's was? I don't know about that. I think it was definitely racing more than Lisa's, who did not really seem concerned here at all.
Lisa made her rankings knowing that she was like, all right, let me not be. She knew she was going home. She says, it's gonna be May. Yeah.
She was like, oh, okay, I expected that. Like she had like no reaction, but yeah, basically. Lisa's at number 7, mainly because she did not help herself at all in this game. No. And then Jack is all the way at the bottom. So hypothetically, Lance and Emily go here. Now I say hypothetically because it seems like at first things are going to play out the way they normally do. They go to see one person before they leave. I thought it was really funny. They were both meeting to go see other catfishes where Lisa
that was so funny.
Yeah, Lisa was going to go meet Lee and then Jack was going to go meet Trevor. But they then both end up meeting each other in the game. Yep. We're like, what the fuck is going on here? So they formally introduce each other. Lisa says she knew that Jack was a guy because of what happened, which we knew. We've been new.
Okay,
Yeah, that's not new information. They're both confused as Jack was going to meet Trevor. Lisa wanted to meet River. They're then given an alert that though they have been blocked, they're given a second chance. And now, because the fact that they were both catfishes, they get to play as someone new. We see some like middle-aged man comes on the screen. Jack's like, who the fuck is that? And then the episode ends.
Like the 2 most boring ass bitches coming back. Right. Boring ass bitch.
What is up with the circle and like these old men?
I know.
Emma and Femi were a pastor. And then we have this man who's a psychic. Like, I hope
it's like a weird combination. He's like a gay psychic who's like
who's like also a Santa.
Yeah, he's also Santa. And then he's like had a partner for like 15 years. I think.
Like the most boring people that have ever been on the circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is not going to be entertaining.
No.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I do hope it does is it finally gets Lisa to actually play the game, and maybe if she's not playing as Lance this month,
hope that they leave.
Yeah,
like, do we not realize that like Lisa just gotta vacay? Like Jack's gonna do all the work. Jack's gonna do all the work, and we're gonna like
pretty much.
Yeah, I'm not here for it.
Yeah, and I mean, I saw a lot of people saying, why didn't they give this twist to Savannah and Terilisha? And as much as I would have loved that, because I think it would have been really entertaining, I do understand that, Jack and Lisa were already catfishes. So it does make sense to make them both basically turn them into another catfish because of the fact that Savannah and Terilisha were playing as themselves. I do understand that, but it's like, I don't think this is going to help either of them. I don't think Lisa benefits Jack's game. I don't think Jack benefits Lisa's game. This is just a really odd pairing. I don't really know where this is going to go.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to last that long.
No, they're not.
I feel like them and Mitchell might be the next to go, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably immune the next round because that's usually what happens with the new players.
They're immune in the next round.
Yeah. So I can see Mitchell going next, and then...
Yeah.
Do we think because we have a new person in whatever this guy's name is, and
John? I think. Yeah.
Oh God! Of course it's John. And then I'm assuming like the next, what is this final 7? So I don't think a new person will come for an episode, but like that's usually someone who just gets cut out. But that's going to be an interesting.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's possible if we have it's possible we do have another intruder, but I also feel like because we have John, I don't know if there's going to be another one, but we'll see. Maybe there is.
One more.
Yeah.
Well, because they have this, which is interesting about next week is that, or this week or whatever, tomorrow, is that they're gonna have a super influencer. So someone's gonna get that little shot of, adrenaline to make a move. But who knows?
I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it's like an HOH.
Oh, no. Super influencer is you rank everyone, and instead of showing the rankings are hidden. No one knows the rankings.
Ooh,
You only the audience only knows who number one is because the person who's in first place is the super influencer, and they have the power to block anyone they want, but they don't block in the circle chat. You don't even know who it is. You don't even know who's blocking. They just go to that person's apartment and is like, "I'm blocking you."
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening there for sure. I think that this is going to be a really interesting last half of episodes. I just hope that, our favorites like Chloe and Khat end up thriving. I think that they're both in really strong positions. And I think in terms of the next people to go, I do think it's going to be like Mitchell, Trevor, or Lee. I think they're probably the next ones to go. And then I don't know who would go after that. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but
the
yeah,
trailer for
that's we're finally done. We talked about everything that happened within these 4 episodes. I know that was quite long for a lot of you, but I've made longer videos before, so this is nothing for me. But anyway, before we do wrap things up here. Oh yeah, definitely. Before we do wrap things up here, I'm going to give both of our guests, I should say, a chance to do their outros, plug their socials, everything. Starting off with Jenn, which I don't need to plug your Twitter because it's right there.
There she is. Follow me. I follow back. Let's chat. I don't know. I don't really use Twitter that much anymore, but it's there.
Yeah. All right. Marcelo.
Circle message. Hey everyone, it's Marcelo. I'm very excited to be in this podcast right now. Exclamation point, laughing face emoji. I'm very into social media, so if you want to follow me, my follow is at MarceloGuz96. Give me sparkling firework emoji. And yeah, we're here to play. We're here to slay. This has inspired me to maybe make my own podcast. So keep a lookout on that. Yes. You might see me do a little Pada Boo Ray podcast. I don't know. I was just trying to put podcasts into something because we are in a panorama. We are in a pandemic. We are in a panini, and sometimes we need content. So follow me. I follow back, and let's do it. Let's. Maybe you'll see me on the circle sometime. Who knows?
We hope so.
And Jenn as well.
And Jenn. Me and Jenn are going to play together. We're going to be a duo. We're going to be some random person named Mark.
I'm so here for it.
Yeah, there we go. Yes, that's going to be so fun to watch. I should probably, there we go, put that away. But yes, very, very fun talk for sure. Very good podcast. Very much enjoyed having both of you on. Also love the excessive emojis and the excessive hashtags that they always use in the circle, because that's always fun to watch. But anyways, guys, that's it for our review for this week's of The Circle. Of course, as always, comment down below. Let us know what you guys thought of everything that went down this week. Love to hear your thoughts on it. We will be back, I think, on Friday, right? Yeah, to talk about Big Brother Canada. So we are definitely, Allie and I will be back to talk about Big Brother Canada. So definitely look forward to that. Very interesting week that we are in for sure. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in our next video, and we will see you guys for that. Okay, circle, close chat. Goodbye.
Circle, bye.